It is impossible to love deeply without sacrifice. Elizabeth Elliot. Part 1. Infiltrator. Chapter 1. Is that really the best you've got? The hunter spat a wad of bloody phlegm and barked a laugh at the slope-shouldered man squared off in front of him. I felt gentle breezes that hit harder. Hernan's broad shoulders hunched, and his lips pulled back into a snarl. "Hijo de puta, I'll show you hard." His massive fist shot toward the hunter's face with impressive speed for a human. The hunter saw the blow coming and swayed aside to let Hernan's strike connect only with empty air. He blocked a follow-up gut punch, then struck out with an uppercut that cracked against the man's black-bearded chin. When Hernan staggered, the hunter planted his boot in the man's chest and shoved him hard to send him sprawling on the wooden deck between the cells. "Ho there!" Albagallo's curse rang out loud in the close confines of the brig. The hunter glanced over his shoulder to see the scar-covered brute stagger to his feet, shaking off the effects of his collision with the planks following the hunter's grappling throw. He spun, arm whipping around to strike at the side of Albagallo's neck. But his blow never connected. From the corner of his eye, he saw the dark figure vaulting over the downed Hernan and diving at his waist. The hunter was forced to pull his attack against Albagallo and twist out of the way of the tackle that would have taken him off his feet and buried him beneath a mountain of muscle. Comal was fast. He very nearly managed to change course at the last moment, but not quite. He ploughed past the hunter and crashed into Albagallo. The two of them went down in a tangled heap of flailing limbs and growled curses. "Ah!" The hunter glanced first to his right, at the downed Hernan, then at the flailing Comal and Albagallo. "You'll have to do a lot better than that, if you want to." He ducked beneath the bucket he'd seen Hernan reaching for. It sailed past his head to crash against the deck beams, shattering and raining splinters down on Comal's back. "Land more than a lucky blow," the hunter finished, spinning toward the rising Hernan. The sailor was back on his feet, glaring daggers and rolling his shoulders. The hunter just grinned and beckoned for the man to bring on the attack. Hernan complied, but he didn't charge as Comal had. He advanced slowly, light on the balls of his feet, balance steady, fists raised and shoulders loose. His eyes took in the hunter's armoured form and grinning face, both virtually untouched, save for the one punch Hernan had landed to draw blood from his already healing lip, and his expression darkened, grew ugly, threatening, the look of a man who had killed before and was seriously considering doing it again had his orders not prevented it. But Captain de Gris had said nothing about not beating the tar out of La Travessia Eterna's lone prisoner. Hernan waded in with short, quick jabs, speed over power, with a relentlessness made dangerous by his brawny size. The hunter had faced a share of brawlers in the past, including Lord Apis, a bloody demon, and within seconds he knew Hernan was among one of the most skilled. Everything from the way he pivoted just right with each punch and kept himself fully in control while trying to work the hunter's face and body to soften up his defences screamed of an experienced pugilist. But the hunter was far from out of his depth. Hernan's speed was impressive, true, but he was merely human, facing off against a Bucellari. Alone, the sailor was no match at all. The hunter blocked, twisted, and evaded each punch with insulting ease, letting Hernan overextend or overexert himself, or, alternatively, let his frustration over his lack of success lure him into committing too much power to his blows. His counterattacks dismantled Hernan's defences, knocked him off balance, or struck some tender spot Hernan had to pull back to guard. Still, Hernan demonstrated admirable restraint. He didn't wade in with fists flying and teeth bared, but kept his head, his breathing even, and timed to lend maximum power to his punches without sapping his strength. He couldn't push the hunter backward. The hunter simply planted his feet and let his hands and reflexes do the work. But he refused to give ground, either. He kept the pressure on, never giving the hunter more than a moment's opening. Suddenly, the sailor feinted a lunging low punch to push the hunter back a half step. When he did,